Welcome to Living the Dream, the show for dance teachers and studio owners. We live for the breakthroughs, the laughter, the messy moments, and the magic. Because the dream is not always perfect, it's real. Let's talk dance, studio life, and the journey. Here we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a Thursday night version of Living the Dream. I feel like it's a little looser on Thursday night than it is Monday morning, and I think our guest will be taking us in that direction as well. I'd like to introduce you to my co-host, Connie O'Real. Welcome, Connie.
Hello. Thank you for having me tonight, Ree.
I love having you, my friend. Tell me, or first, introduce yourself to our audience, if you would.
Sure. As we said, my name is Connie O'Real. I am a studio owner outside the suburbs of Chicago. I am on year 20 of owning my studio, and we just opened our second location. So it's a big year for us. I'm a mom of 4. And I do a little moonlighting as a pharmacist on the side, as well as owning the dance studios. So,
okay. I want to say good evening to everybody. Welcome to Living the Dream. We're so glad you're spending your Thursday night with us.
Yes, if you are watching live, let us know where you're tuning in from. We love seeing our dance community show up from all over the country.
And remember, Living the Dream is also a podcast. You can subscribe on Apple and Spotify. And you can also watch episodes on YouTube as well. Make sure you subscribe and never miss a conversation. Okay, Miss Connie, before we bring in our special guest, Suzanne Citere, we know each other because we meet every Friday in the Gold Alliance. I've watched you grow. I want our audience to know a little bit about you, and then I'd like to ask you about it. You're a mom of 4.
Yes.
You owned a very large studio for a long time, and in the last couple of months, you've decided to open a second studio.
Yes.
During the day, you are a pharmacist.
This is true. Yes.
Yes, to all of the above. And maybe I left some things out. I'm not sure. So for everybody, including me, who would say, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed, how do you balance it all?
A lot of Post-its. No. Calendars, keeping myself super organized in that way. I take it day by day. I have a pretty set schedule, so that kind of helps keep everybody in line. And at home, we run a really tight ship, so everybody knows what their responsibilities are. But yeah, we're always busy, always moving. My mom always say that I'm the person who likes to burn both ends of the candle, so an object in motion stays in motion, right?
I get that. Tell me about the second studio. I think it just happened in the last few weeks. Am I correct?
Yes, January 5th was our opening day. It is a 7,200 square foot building, so we are really excited to have a lot more space. The original one is 6,200, but more lobby than studio. This one is more studio than lobby. So the big room is about 3,000 square feet of just dance space. So we're really excited about having all that. We have about 80 students registered just at that location from January. So doing well, getting our feet wet and getting everything sort of set up for the season.
For those who may be watching or will be listening on our podcast, was there something that triggered you knowing that it was time to open a second school, or did it just kind of fall into your hands and you went for it?
It's been on my mind for, I would say, the past few years. And then COVID happened and everybody tightened up, right? We all just wanted to get through that time period. But last summer, I was hosting our in studio intensive and I was looking in all the rooms and I thought to myself, I couldn't put one more kiddo in here if I wanted to. We didn't have the room, we didn't have the space. So it was time for us to make a move. And I just started looking around. Like I said, I'm in the Chicago area, so there's not a lot of space or a lot of buildings. So we found an area that's a little bit more rural, and here we are.
And what's the most exciting part? And what is the part that maybe sometimes makes you a little nervous?
The most exciting part was just seeing all of the kids' faces when they walked in the room. I've had a lot of my students, for 15 years or so, and to be able to give them that and to give even my own personal children that space to dance in. And that was a really great day to show them that. The scary part, I think, like anything, is, gotta pay the rent, gotta pay those bills. So we've got to get enrollment where it needs to be and keep it there. But I feel with all of the tools and things that I've gained from you that I'm going to be able to do that. And I have a really great team right now with me. So they are making it easy for me to be successful in that second location.
Okay, and they have a really great leader,
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. I mean that. So I want to continue our conversation, but with Suzanne. We want to take a moment to thank our sponsor, Jackrabbit Dance. Their continued support helps us bring these conversations to you.
If you are looking to streamline your systems and simplify your studio management, Jackrabbit Dance is a powerful solution trusted by studio owners across the country.
This episode is sponsored by Jackrabbit Dance, the dance studio software empowering you to build the studio of your dreams. With over 20 years of experience, Jackrabbit has the solutions and industry insights to help your business grow. Want to increase student enrollment, optimize your pricing to be profitable, or improve staff retention? See how other studios are using Jackrabbit Dance to hit their goals year after year. To learn more, visit jackrabbitdance.com/benchmarks.
Citere.
Hi.
How cool is it to see you, my friend? How far back do we go?
So I was trying to think, like, we've been friends. I want to say it's got to be at least almost 40 years.
Hard to say that out loud, but it's the truth.
How could it be? It's the time just really does fly by. We met in the 90s when you owned American Dance Spectrum. He introduced me to you. And I remember he was judging for you in Boston, and we met in Boston.
Were you teaching at the time in New York for
Horizons?
Yeah, Horizons.
For Linda Abadi, yep.
Yes.
My dear friend Linda, who I still talk to practically every day.
I actually saw her comment on one of the posts about tonight's broadcast.
Did she? Yeah. I hope she's in there. I don't know. Can you see who's in here? Who's watching?
No, it's live on a whole bunch of different places. But since you brought that up, those of you that are watching us live, let us know who you are and where you're from. Look at this. Here's April Nelson.
Hi, April. Oh, my gosh. April and I vacation every year together. We spend our spring break together. We meet up in New York City, and we cram in as many Broadway shows as we can in a matter of 5 days. So, because, she's in Arizona, so we meet up there. We have a grand old time. We try to stay out of trouble, but we have a great time. And April, who I met at ADA with you.
Yes, and here's a little tidbit about April Nelson. April was at the very first Project Motivate, and we still see her at the conference every year.
I think I might have been at the first one also, first or second. It was at the Phoenician.
No, probably but you were you were at one in Arizona, and
Yeah.
it was in Sedona. You rolled down a hill. Do you remember that? Okay, wait though, because we have to start asking you some questions and do an interview. I just want to say to everybody this: 90s American Dance Awards, Boston. And we're running in John Hancock Auditorium, the Park Plaza Hotel, and a place called the Castle.
Yes.
And yes. So it's 3 locations. If you were in the area, you'd find headpieces on the sidewalk.
Right.
People's statues on the sidewalk because there were so many kids. I'm going to say 2,500 entries. You're in the castle. We're giving out awards, and it's probably midnight. I'm saying thank you to our judges who have spent all day watching you children. Da, 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 da. And I go down the line, and I get to you, and I can't remember your name.
That's good. That's exactly right. And the look of terror on your face, like, I don't know your name.
I said it 1,000 times, but at that moment I could not remember your name, and you go, Suzanne Citere!
At that point, we were all like slap happy. You know, there was the castle. There was so many entries, and by the end of the night, like, I don't know, we were all kind of blithering idiots. It's
I
amazing.
can remember it was also 7 days long.
Yeah.
So this went on for 7 days. And the exhaustion, but the thrill as well.
The best talent ever. But as I remember, like the code letters, it would be code letter D D D D D, like 5 Ds, you know. And you say 2,500? I think it was more than that. I think it was upwards of 3,000.
One that was almost 3,000, and
Yeah.
it could have been that.
Mm-hmm. 3
And
rooms
listen, I want you to know I scheduled every one of those 3,000
by hand. There was no computer program back then to plug it all in. You had to do it one by one by one. That's right.
Tabulators who worked
Oh
all
my
day
God.
with their adding machine.
Not enough to give you. Now it's like a piece of cake.
Right here is Heather Gels. She was in those competitions.
Yes, she competed. I remember the parent competition when their studio did Nonsense. And Penny came out in her nun costume, Heather's mom. They were all dressed as nuns and maybe a couple of priests. I don't know. But the parent challenge lives on. Do you have that on video anywhere, Ree? Do you have videos of those competitions at the parents?
I have pictures.
Oh my God.
I have videos. Okay, so people are now talking to each other. April is saying,
I feel like I'm in like a coffee date with old friends. So
yes.
Yeah,
right?
I love this.
Well, Suzanne, thank you for joining us. We are really excited to dive into your journey and your impact in dance education.
Oh, it's been a journey. It's been a long one. So, yes.
You trained in New York City with some of the finest instructors in the country. And were you a student of Horizons as well?
So I started, my first teacher was Bonnie Gargano. She had a little studio in her garage up the street from me in Brooklyn. And when I turned it about 16 or 17, Horizons was starting to do dance competition. And we really didn't do much of that at my first studio. And I really wanted to do dance competition. So I went and then studied with Linda. But from about the age of 12 or 13, one thing Miss Bonnie always did was encourage us. We were in Brooklyn. encourage us to get on the subway. My father used to let me get on the New York City subway in the 70s by myself and take the subway to Farnworth and Howard. And I would go take class from Chuck Kelly and Don Farnworth. And that was like my supplemental training from about 12 years old. I think I started all the way until college. And but it was the competition thing really that led me to Linda. And I wound up teaching for Linda later on for a long time until I left to go work for Club Med, which was a lot of fun.
I think I remember the Club Med. That was right before I believe you started judging for me. Were you a
Yes.
choreographer for them?
Yeah, so Club Med has their own entertainment. It's like an all-inclusive resort. It's kind of like a stationary cruise, basically. And at night there's entertainment and things. And I was started as a choreographer, and then I was promoted to overall entertainment coordinator. And I met my husband there. They sent us, I got to live in Israel and Switzerland and in the Caribbean for a while, out in Copper Mountain, Colorado. And then my husband had been with them for much longer than I had. And he got to the point where he was like, I've had enough. It's time for me to stop. And you can continue if you want, but I just can't really anymore. And we wanted to stay together. So we quit Club Med, and then we went and lived in New York City until 1995. And that's when I moved to Florida. When we had enough of all that cold weather they're having now, that like, you know, that's the reason why we left. I could not do another day of snow, another day of below 30 degrees. And I was out.
I do not blame you.
Oh no, I've been in Florida for 30 years. It's 30 years this month.
All right. So when you look back at your younger self, what strengths were already there and what did you have to learn the hard way?
Oh, I was that kid. So in my first studio, you could not take jazz. You had to take, ballet and tap until you were, I think it was like 13. And so leading up to that, I was never really a standout kid. No one really, I wasn't a ballerina. I was pretty average. And I didn't love it. I just did it because it was my activity that I did. And then all of a sudden, when I was allowed to take jazz, something was ignited in my brain. I could tell you there was a teacher, her name was Miss Diane Sclafani. We were doing like a combination with isolations, and she stopped and she said, "That's really excellent." I had to be maybe 14, and I could still remember that moment. And that's when I said, this is what I've been waiting for. I finally found my place. And what I had to learn the hard way was because I was never strong in ballet. I didn't have great turnout. I struggled in ballet. I wasn't built like a ballet dancer. I was more like an acrobat. It was buying into ballet. And it wasn't until someone just said, I think it might have been Chuck at that point, like, you got to get it together in ballet class because, you're having all these issues, and it's because you're not working hard enough in ballet class. And at first I was like, that's not true. I'm terrible at ballet. And then I was like, well, let me try this and see if they're right. And I just started applying myself more. And when I finally saw that translate into my ballet class, I wasn't getting killed in all those corrections on feet and knees and all of that all the time. That was learning the hard way. I felt like I wasted a lot of formative years by convincing myself that I just wasn't good in ballet. So there was no point really in committing that much to it because it just wasn't going to be good. But it was just because I wasn't trying hard enough.
Yeah.
That was really it.
A couple questions I have. You founded RealDance in 2003. Do I have that right?
Yes.
Okay. First question is, what made you call it RealDance? And the second part is, what was your biggest challenge in those early years?
So I called it Real. It was actually Tice DiOrio that named the studio because I was filling out the corporation paperwork. And all I knew is that I didn't want my name on it because I'm pretty sure, I actually started attending Project Motivate before I opened. And I think it might have been you, Ree, that said, if you put your name on it, then everyone's always looking for you. Well, where is Miss Suzanne if it's Miss Suzanne School of Dance? And so I didn't want to have my name, but I knew my mission statement was I wanted to be as an authentic as possible dance training, as close to what I got in New York as possible. Real dance, not competition dance. It was, how are we going to translate what these kids are going to learn here to hopefully one day a professional stage? And so Ty said, what about real dance? Real dance, one word. And I was like, sounds good. Put it on the paper, sent it in. It was real dance from there on in. And the biggest challenge was just because, so I had been teaching for about 8 years prior to opening in South Florida. And I was hell-bent on getting as far away from the places where I was teaching as possible. I really didn't want one of those situations where you open kind of in the same area and the kids that you're teaching follow you. And I wanted a clean slate. I really liked the people that I was teaching for. And I felt like ethically, I didn't want to do that. So I had to start from scratch, like the first year we had 60 kids and none of them had ever taken a dance class ever. And I always say that first recital was just awful. It was just babies and beginners and lots of lindies and shuffle steps, but we got through it. And then every year after that, we were able to build a little bit more. But I had gone from a situation where I had the opportunity to teach advanced kids and it was great to work with them, but then having to start totally from the beginning. And I try to tell people now, people that want to open their own school, it's tough in the beginning, but what a rewarding experience. After a while, you're watching all this growth and you can really say, like, we did that. This team at this school did that. These kids didn't know anything when they first got to us. And to watch that progression, it's one of the most gratifying experiences of my lifetime. But it was tough in the beginning. It was like the choreographer in me was like, this is going to be so hard, but it made me a better teacher. I will tell
I
you
wanted
that.
to share with you this one thing that I never forgot. My mother told me that when she opened her school after her first recital, she went in her bedroom and cried for 2 days.
Oh, God.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
it's
know.
true.
I think we all had that moment, right? I think we've all been
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
But you know what was crazy? The parents thought it was fabulous.
Yes.
I was like, what? And they were like, no, we cried. It was, even to this day, I'll always have a teacher who's disappointed in their recital piece at the end of the year. And I'll say to them, mark my words, wait for the parent feedback. And so we always have class the week after recital, and the parents will all come in and just be like, oh my God, it was like a Broadway show.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, really? I guess you didn't see the third line, like all kind of, and no one cares. They're just so happy that their kids was so happy. They don't care.
Yeah.
It's really amazing.
I think
Yes.
that comes from you, right? The culture that you bring to your studio. So I have a question for you. How do you intentionally protect that culture inside RealDance?
Oh, it's funny because I was listening to you guys talking about opening a second location. And I could tell you the number one reason why I never did is because I'm a bit of a control freak about stuff like that. And I've always my favorite student is the one, well, I have two favorites. I love the people that come from somewhere else, like they move down, everybody moves to Florida, right? And my biggest fans are people who have danced in other places because they'll come down and say, wow, this is great. This is great. We didn't have this and we didn't have that. But the big chunk of the student body has never danced anywhere else. And so all they know is what they learned from us. And I try to be really intentional about the faculty, how they speak to children, how I speak with the parents. I love the parents. I know that so many I hear a lot of teachers that struggle with that, but I'll chew their ear off all day long. If they want to talk about process and why we do things and how we do things, so enjoy talking up to them. I love when they sit. Our observation is on closed circuit TV, and we've got a monitor in the lobby. And I love when they sit and watch because I'm so proud of the work that we're doing. I want them to see that was one great thing during COVID was when we were zooming into their households. And I remember getting emails from parents saying, I never realized how hard those teachers work, how loving they are with the kids, how much they care about the training, because people are busy. They can't sit there every week and listen. So we protect it in that way by really I'm there as much as I can be, but I know who I have on faculty. I'm very lucky. I have Michael Taylor has been with me almost since the day that I opened. My contemporary teacher, Kim Alexander. These are people, they're really professional, and we're all very much in tune with each other and the messages we want to send out to the kids and parents. So I try not to be too much of a control freak, but I do try to keep my hand on the pulse, even down to the emails we send. I try to keep a sense of humor about things, and people I actually like your emails because there's always funny stuff in there that make me giggle, and so it's we work hard at that. Thank you for thinking about it, because we do work hard at it.
Yeah, and so important.
It is.
Okay, before I go to my next question, those of you that are watching, check in with us in the comments. Let us know who you are, where you're from. So, Suzanne, you've succeeded competitively. You've trained professional dancers. What standards are non-negotiable for you?
In terms of training?
Yes.
So obviously, ballet. We still insist that everybody take tap. Our program is a really well-rounded program. I don't consider myself like a ballet school, and I make a big effort to bring in a lot of guest faculty. One thing that we do in the studio, we're not too far from the theater where all the national tours come through. So every season, when I know it's coming through, I get online and I see who's in the cast. I try to figure out who the dance captain is, and I have them come in to teach a class. So about once a month, we have a guest teacher, usually from one of the national tours that's in town. So we try to keep a real clear picture of who should be training with us. And obviously, I love the kids that just want to come take maybe a ballet, a hip hop, have fun, be in the recital, create some great memories, and have dance always be part of their life, but also be able to serve the kid that wants to do it professionally.
Mm-hmm.
So non-negotiables as far as training, aside from curriculum, we really are kind of, we monitor attendance. They have to try and keep good attendance. And not be punitive with that stuff, because I'm a mom too, and try to be cognizant of their school workload, because what good is getting into the college dance program if you can't get into the college? So we got to try and make sure that that's happening. But those are non-negotiables. It's a level of training, level standard of training that we try to maintain. Again, I give all the credit to my faculty, because these are people that, with my good fortune, decided to settle down in South Florida, and they're the people that travel on the country on the weekends teaching at conventions and things like that. So we're super lucky.
Connie, I'm going to go off script here for 1 second, ask her a question.
Yeah,
Tell me about your recreational program.
So our recreational program, I hate that word. Can I just say that?
I don't disagree. Let's call it the classics.
The classics, yes.
Okay, tell me about your classic program.
There's
or your
no
core
distinction.
Program.
Yeah, there's no distinction between if you're a jazz student,
right,
competition is something you might do extra, but you're going to take the same jazz class with everybody else who is the same age as you are, taking the same classes. I don't make too much of a distinction between recreational and competitive. I don't even like that term. I don't use the term. It's dance class. That's it. But I will say, the competitive requirements are a little bit more. Those kids have to take a couple of extra ballet classes. It's just simply the only difference between the two is required, not required. So even our kids that don't compete, if you want to take jazz, you still have to take a ballet class every week. The only classes we offer where there's not a ballet requirement is tap, hip hop, and much to my dismay, acro. I wish I could get the acro kids to take ballet, but it's not always easy. But we want to be able to offer that. So it's and then of course there's the preschool program, which is, I guess you would consider recreational, because we don't really compete kids until they're closer to like 7 or 8 years old. But yeah, that's really, there isn't too much of a distinction. Training is training, right? Jazz is jazz, ballet is ballet. Like what difference does it make whether you compete or don't compete? Doesn't matter to me.
Yeah. I think we both know this competitive world is so different these days. We alluded to it a little bit in the beginning, right? It's so different than what it was when it first started. And you've served on both sides in leadership roles and judged major competitions. Sitting on the other side of the table, what do you see that studios could improve immediately?
Okay,
When it
now,
comes,
Suzanne.
can I
This
just
is
wait? Yeah, I just want to give a little shout out. Janet Maffey, she's the OG in my area. My contemporary teacher trained with Janet. She had a studio. I think she opened maybe in the 70s. And then when she retired, then I opened, and a lot of her former students, teachers came over with me, but it was after Janet closed. So I just want to give her, she is one of the founding mothers in South Florida of dance, and I'm honored to have her on this podcast with us. So my first thing for competitive schools is stop gearing the training to competition. Take it almost as if there is no competition that you're going to have to enter. Again, training is training, dance is dance, because when you're only focused on what you need to do for competition, sometimes that well-roundedness will get lost. And you don't want that to happen. Then it's too much. I just had this conversation with one of my teachers tonight. We were talking about dance team and how dance team is learning routines, routine after routine after routine. And this is their season now. And a lot of them have had to miss some classes. And we both agreed that when you're in class, you can throw together a number in 2 days and throw it up on stage. No one ever obviously wants to do that.
Right.
But really, if
But
a
we
child,
used to do that 30 years ago.
yes,
I'm just saying.
it's
There
true.
were a lot of pieces in competition that we threw in 2 weeks before because we thought of a great idea. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know how people do their choreography in the summer that they're going to compete the following spring. Because in my brain, I'm like, well, first we got to work on a vocabulary. Like the kids, we've got to give them a vocabulary, and we've got to work on their technique. And then we could throw together the choreography in a couple of weeks. Like people can throw together Casey Castellano, Scar Fowler. They come to my studio, they throw together a number in a weekend. We don't need to spend all that much time, really. And my teachers, the regular faculty, are like sweating it out every week with their piece of choreography. I'm like, Casey just did her number in 5 hours. So if you think about it from that, put the focus on the training, and then it's not as hard as you think to pull it together for competition. That would be the main point that I would make to people, because a well-trained dancer, you put them up there and they can produce for you without having to spend 100 hours on a number. It's always been my philosophy.
Okay, Suzanne, sort of on that note, you're sitting there, you're adjudicating. A technically almost flawless piece of choreography comes out. But then another piece of choreography comes out, and the choreography is brilliant. Maybe not as flawless in technique, but brilliant, and something totally different brought to the stage. In your mind, how do you handle that? Do you know the circumstance I'm talking?
I do. I'm watching the Olympics now. I'm watching these flawless skaters who are doing these beautiful things, but I'm not feeling anything. So if you can make me feel something, because at the end of the day, again, going back to training for a professional situation, when you're sitting in the audience of a show, you have to be moved emotionally by what you're seeing. Because any robot can get out there and do a perfect bot ma and do a perfect tilt. But if the passion is not
I love
there,
to call them a robot.
yeah, well, it's
Yeah,
like,
I love this.
because you can't teach, sometimes you can't teach that passion. You can't teach that when a dancer is up there and you could just tell they are feeling this from the inside out, so much so that it translates right through the fourth wall into the audience. That's sometimes that's something that can't be taught, though. That's the hardest thing for a teacher, when you've got a brilliant dancer, but she just or he just doesn't make you feel anything when they're up there. And it's a very difficult thing to teach. It really, really is. But for me, again, you got to make me feel something. I always like to hear, who I love to listen to are like the dads, because they're the ticket holder, right? They're the ones that are going to buy a seat in a show. And when you could make them feel something, then you got a hit, because they don't really care if a girl has a perfect turnout, right?
Yeah.
They don't care. They want to be entertained. I want to be entertained. I don't care. April and I spent a ton of money on theater tickets. I want to be entertained. So maybe you're not kicking your nose, but if you're moving me to tears, well then let's go. Like, I'm all in.
Yeah, I'm sort of with you on that. And I know that there are people who disagree and believe it should be that technically flawless piece. But I'm with you. I oftentimes find no feeling in that technically flawless piece.
And judges are humans. We have emotional response to the work that we see.
Yes.
It's not like
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, it's not, I'm thinking of like the judges in ice skating. They've got to sit there with a notepad and they have to keep track of the jumps, and each jump is worth X amount of points. And it's not so clinical in dance. It is being judged, strictly from the heart. Like it's an experience that you're going to share with this performer on stage. And so it's very emotional. I've been moved to tears more times. And sometimes it's like a 10-year-old boy. And I know it's this kid's first time out there, but the kid is just living his life. And I put down the mic and I'll be like on the critique going, I'm sorry. I'm so moved by what you're doing. In the meantime, the kid is doing like, a tap solo. That's not even the slightest bit to make me teary, but I'm crying because I could tell that this is a moment in time.
Yeah.
It's very emotional. Judging is very emotional for me.
Yeah. Well, and I have to tell you, I am a big fan of yours on TikTok. I always see all your videos come up. I love it. No, I love it. I love
That's
that
because my husband's tired of listening to it. So I just get on TikTok and maybe people can relate to what I'm saying here. So I'll just talk to the phone.
Yeah, no, well, I totally relate. And sometimes I think you spark really strong reactions from people, right? The topics in our industry right now are a little crazy. I want to know, where does that confidence come from? Where do you get that confidence to speak out on these issues?
It comes from being 100 years old now. Some of it comes with but I will tell you, and Ree
I
can
feel
attest to
like you
this.
were that way 30 years ago. It's a
I
part
was
of
just
who
gonna
you are.
I
say,
could see that.
Ree knows me from when I was in my 30s. I was like this. I love to. I have always been really outspoken. I am from New York. I am Italian. I'm passionate. And I've always kind of been that person that I didn't care if you liked me or didn't like me. You always knew what you were going to hear out of my mouth was going to be the truth. And I saw a great meme today. It said, "Don't try to be a people pleaser because people are never pleased." And that's kind of how I feel. I'm just going to say it. I
Yep.
know I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but I'm authentic. The Suzanne you see on TikTok is the same Suzanne that's sitting across the kitchen table with my husband eating breakfast, complaining about whatever the thing I'm complaining about that day. So it's real. It's who I am, and
Yeah.
and it's
I think
but
it's
it's
refreshing. I love it.
well, thank you. I appreciate that. I feel free to mute me anytime I get to be a little bit.
You make
I
me laugh.
repost.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Some of the topics are rough to talk about, but
Yeah.
it's got to be talked about. We have to have conversations. It's how we grow as educators and people. And I love
So
to interact with the comments.
is it like I look at you sometimes and I go bold, or I might go, "Ooh, that's a little controversial."
Spicy.
So,
Controversial,
Yeah.
yeah.
so is your intention to challenge? Is it to educate? Is it to protect the art form? Is it to create discussion? What
It's
do you see?
conversation. I'll give you a perfect example. I made a TikTok about dance team because dance team's very, very big down here in Florida. There's causes a lot of conflicts between studios and schools and dance coaches. And I had a conversation in the comments of one of my TikToks about it with a dance mom who educated me about an entire different genre of dance school called all-star dance. And they don't exist here. I had never heard, but apparently they're very popular and they're in Texas and they're all over the country. And what it does is it trains kids exclusively to do dance teamwork. It's not a studio where you're going to train to go dance on Broadway. It's not a studio where you're going to go dance in a contemporary company. It's a studio that trains you to do your high school and college dance teams, and they gear the training exclusively to that. And I said, this is why I'm on TikTok. We have this vehicle to have these conversations with people across the country. I've been in this business for 40 something years. Clearly, I don't know everything. And I love hearing about this stuff. I love hearing about what other people are doing and things that are going on outside. And I hate living in a bubble. I want to know what's happening. What is everyone doing? And so that's what it's about, Ree. It's about conversations. It's about learning from others. It's about a new way of doing things. I'll bring it back to the dads again. I love listening to what the dads have to say about stuff. I've gotten some of my best ideas from people that don't know anything about dance. They sit through the recital and say, what would be great? And I listen to them because sometimes you can't read the label from inside the jar, right?
Right.
You need to interact with people outside of the little dance bubble. Dance parents who have a whole other perspective of what we do. I love that, and I love those conversations, and that's what I'm trying. I don't like to argue with people. I don't want to insult people or offend people.
Mhm.
So if I'm doing that, I apologize, but it's really to spark conversation and learn. I just want to learn.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what you accomplish with all of those posts for sure. I've got a question for you.
Sure.
I know that you're deeply involved in advocacy and community leadership. How do you think that has shaped the way you lead inside your studio?
So for an example, I have been pushing in the state of Florida, working with one of our state representatives to pass a law that requires anybody who works with children to undergo a background check. The only
Mm.
state that has that is the state of Pennsylvania.
Mhm.
And so, as we know, we've all heard terrible stories about abuse and things like that. And so, while a background check isn't a cure-all, it can be a deterrent. And one of the big reasons why I do stuff like that is to try and teach. We all have, I think we could all agree that we know a lot of the kids that we teach are not going to be professional dancers, and they learn all other kinds of lessons when they come to us. And I
Yes.
want my students to see you can be a change maker in your own city, state, home, town. It doesn't have to be dance related. I will go and speak in the capital of Tallahassee about this stuff to politicians. And if I could do it, you could do it.
Mhm.
If they leave the studio and say, I remember when my teacher was really involved in getting this background check thing passed in our state, it just makes it more a more attainable goal, I think.
Mhm.
And so it often becomes about that. What can I teach the kids from this whole experience? Watch me, watch what I'm doing here. You could do the same thing. And even advocacy, when I moved my location, I had to battle my city because of a zoning law.
Mm.
And I made it a point to tell the kids what was going on every step of the way. Oh my God, Ree, you should have seen these meetings with me and the town council. It was like I filled the place up
I
with
guess
kids
they
with
ran out the back door. Like I could see it.
the mayor of the town will still say to this day, nobody can fill this chambers like RealDance, because we had kids and parents and everybody, fighting City Hall essentially. And that to me was one of the best lessons we ever taught kids outside of plie, tendu, shuffle, step. It's you can fight City Hall. Watch, we're going to do it as a
Mhm.
community, and we did it. It was in the newspaper. It was quite an experience. It's
I
I love
love
it.
funny.
that.
I love
It's
it. Yeah.
funny.
So, if you could, with your 30 years of experience, I can't believe it's 30 years because I remember when you opened. I remember when you married your husband,
Yes.
and it just doesn't seem like it's that long ago. But okay, that's what it is, and we accept it. What advice do you give a newer studio owner?
Mm. Good
Yeah.
question.
It sounds so cliche, but really don't sweat the small stuff. It's not that dramatic. Parents are not your enemy. Parents are actually, and not that you want to be buddy buddy with everybody, but I think there's a culture of us versus them sometimes with the
Mm.
parents, and it's not a good thing, because you do want to have an open relationship with them, where you can talk, but it's just dance. Like, and I don't mean to belittle what we do or minimize what we do, but I think I participate a lot in a lot of dance teacher forums, and I see studio owners getting themselves absolutely sick over things that I know in 10 years from now are not going to matter.
Mhm.
And I remember being that studio owner thinking, oh my God, it's the end of the world. This girl is sick for competition. And now we're, and I'm thinking, this too shall pass. It's not, even when you get to the recital, as long as you have electricity and and sound, you can have your recital. Don't freak out if someone brought the wrong costume or forgot their tap shoes at home, or um it's where, I have a good friend of mine is a plastic surgeon, and we always joke together because her kids both dance with me. And I'll say, my bad day at work ain't nothing like your bad day at work. That's for sure. Because
Yeah.
it's dance, it's dance.
Right.
It's supposed to be joyful. It shouldn't be a dark place. And it's up to us to keep that perspective, I think.
Mhm.
Our job is to bring joy, how great is that?
Yeah.
Okay, I call this the rapid fire round here.
Uh-oh.
Connie and I are going to alternate a little bit.
I'm
Fun,
gonna take a
quick
drink of
answer.
water.
Yeah. Don't worry, mine's easy. My first question.
Okay, let's go.
You go.
All right. Are you a coffee drinker, a tea drinker, or neither?
Coffee all day, every day.
Okay. Song that instantly puts you in a better mood.
New York State of Mind, Billy Joel. Any Billy Joel song, but that's my all-time favorite.
One studio task you would happily outsource forever.
Oh, that's easy. Making the schedule for my summer dance intensive. It makes me want to pull my hair out. It's the worst task in the world. I hate it, hate it, hate it. I think I'm going to try AI this year because it's the worst. ChatGPT.
Yep, for the win.
I want to
Yes.
say that ChatGPT has become one of my best friends, Suzanne. Just
I'm a little
treat it
scared of
nicely
it.
and you're going to get really a warm response back. I'm telling you.
Oh, good. All right. I'm going to jump in.
Okay,
little
go
scary.
for it. I laugh because I do a lot of work. I go back and forth in ChatGPT. I thank ChatGPT. It's like we have a great relationship.
Buy him breakfast.
That's awesome.
Exactly. And wait, I want to tell you something that has nothing to do with anything. I read an article not too long ago that said that ChatGPT pays a fortune with all the people who thank ChatGPT for their help or writes messages to ChatGPT because it has to go get thought about.
Oh, yeah.
So all of this communication that's excess communication costs ChatGPT big money.
Interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Don't
It
you
really
think
is.
that's
I think it's
So-
probably going to change our business a lot, I think. Make things easier, I hope.
Yeah.
Your go-to phrase you say in class all the time.
There are so many. Well, there's that one, if you're on time, you're late. I could say that until my eyeballs fall out. I say that over and over and over again. But, oh God, I have too many. My go-to phrase. The kids are probably going to start blowing up my phone because I think they're watching this in the studio. You know what I mean? And they're going to start saying, what about this? What about that one? I hate to say it because, again, I don't mean to minimize, but I always say it's just dance. It's just dance.
Okay.
No one's,
We're
yeah.
All right. Can you give me a moment in the studio that still makes you laugh?
Oh my God. We just did this hysterical thing. Did you ever see that TikTok challenge where the kids line up behind you and they say your name like, hi, Miss Connie, and you have to figure out who it is just by hearing their voice?
Yes.
Well, those kids gave me such a hard time because they didn't think I was going to be able to do it, and I nailed it. There's only one girl, and at the end, and she was so upset that I didn't get her name, and I was just like, Bella, I thought you were absent today. That's why I didn't guess you.
Quick on your feet.
Exactly.
I love
You
it.
got to try that. It's hilarious. Ree, have you ever seen this challenge?
I've seen it. Only just recently, let's say last week.
Yeah. It's hysterical. Those challenges are so funny. I think I'm the oldest person on TikTok.
Phones. Yeah, the cell phones where the teachers are going to break the cell phones with all the
the
hammer.
corrections.
Yes, with the corrections. Yeah. Get it right or break your cell phone. Yeah, it's a good one too.
That's great.
Final
Can
question.
I say? Oh, say go ahead. Sorry, Ray.
Go. Say whatever you want.
I just don't know. Before we wrap, my husband was asking me. So tell me again, like, what are you doing tonight? Who are you talking to? And he knows your name. Obviously, I worked for you for so many years. And he's like, wow. He's like, it's been a while since you've seen Ree. And I said, yep. I said, you know what? I'll tell you why Ree Gold is one of my most favorite people in the dance world. You are the least judgmental person with the most open mind of anybody in the course of my career that I've ever worked with. Because we have so many people who have reached your level that tend to talk down to others, and they come from a place of like this all knowing, all, powerful. And as big as your name is in the dance world, you've always remained so, like I said, not ever from a place of judgment. I feel like of everybody that I know, I could face just about any problem and I can call you with it, and you will never judge me and make me feel bad and make me feel like I'm doing a bad job. And I want to thank you for being that person to so many people, Ree. I don't know if you know that that's how people feel about you, but you're safe and it's so appreciated. I want you to know that.
I'm lost for words. I have no more questions. I'm gonna cry.
Wrap it up. It's true.
That was perfect. She's spot on.
No, I gotta respond and say thank you. But know this, and I think you do already. I know nothing but this dance world. I mean, yeah, I know some other things, but it's my focus, it's my passion, it's my daily gratitude. All the people who might come to me and need help or ask questions, like I feel honored to have the opportunity. I've never thought of it as being better than someone else. I've only thought of it as, how can I help? How can I make our world, our dance world in particular, better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you do it in a way that doesn't make people feel bad about themselves, like they are a complete screw up. Because I think people often come to you when they're already in a difficult place. And that's hard, because to ask, I have a very hard time asking for help. I think a lot of dance people are like that. So you already know when they're coming to you, it's from there. And so you do it in such a way where they don't feel like a failure just because they're having this one issue. It's such an important thing, It really is invaluable. Thank you for being that person for so many of us.
You're a pretty great leader yourself there, Ree.
Well, he is. He really is.
Wow.
We appreciate you.
How cool is that?
Thank you both.
I love this. I had such a good time.
Question. My final question was rapid fire. Remember this. If your studio has a theme song, what would it be?
I want to say, how about, what's that? Mr. Rogers, It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Because I run my little neighborhood dancing school. A lot of the kids walk there and ride their bikes. My city, one of the greatest honors I had was back in 2020. I was honored as, we call it Keeper's Day, but it's like one of the founding members of the community. And so that Mr. Rogers song, Welcome to Mr. Rogers Neighborhood, I feel like that's who we are. We're not this big giant South Florida powerhouse. We're not going to go into the biggest competition and win the overall $10,000 prize, but we are that neighborhood school. That's us. So that's our theme song.
I love
so
that.
Important.
A little corny, I know, but I think it's true.
Okay, Miss Suzanne, thank you for your leadership, your dedication, and the example you continue to set for educators everywhere.
Thank you for having me. Great to meet you, Connie.
Yes, you as well. I'll be following you on TikTok. To everyone watching tonight, thank you for being a part of this community.
Reminder to subscribe to Living the Dream on Apple and Spotify, and catch full episodes on YouTube. Never miss a conversation, always full of laughs and good times.
And thank you again to Jackrabbit Dance for sponsoring tonight's show.
keep leading, keep learning, keep showing up for your students and your teams. This is what living the dream means. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me. Stay well.
My cue didn't work. Ooh. Bye, everybody. Take care.
Bye.
It's still not working, but that's it for this week's Living the Dream. Thank you for being here, and thank you for giving dance kids a place to belong. Take the lesson, take the inspiration, and take care of yourself too. Keep living the dream. See you next time.